what I found is a lot of the times with our minds, we get these what we call habits. If you think of a drip of water dropping onto our brain has created streams that the information of water dropping flows through. And our brain likes to remain comfortable. So the longer that it drips on it, the deeper the crevice that the water is going to flow down, and the harder it is to break that path. It's just going to keep flowing down. Napoleon Hill's subconscious mind, the principle, 11th principle in Think and Grow Rich, one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why. If any of you are anime fans, we're going to get a little nerdy for a second. So, My Hero Academia, you got the main characters. I'm going to throw out some names. You don't have to remember them, but you got the main character, Deku. Then you got some sub characters. You got Bakugo and Todoroki. I hope I did not say that wrong, or else I'm going to get blamed with all the anime lovers. But these three individuals, they are trying to be the best hero that they can be. They're trying to be the number one hero in the city that they live in. What they do is they go have an internship with the number one hero, and his name is Endeavor at the time. So they go and have this internship, and as they're trying to be the best that they can be, Endeavor is just beating them to places. He's capturing the villains way before these other three get there. And these three individuals, they are training and they're trying to catch up to him, but they just can't. And they had this moment where they're standing on top of a building, and Endeavor looks back and says to the two sub characters, he says, "You two have had your quirks for a while. You two have had them basically since you were born. You guys need to fine tune what you are doing." Then he turns to the main character, Deku, and says, "You're different because you have not had your superpower this entire time, and you are still learning how to use it. So what you need to do is you need to use it enough and use it as many times as you can to then make it second nature. And once you make it second nature, then you can start turning it into the different high level strategies, the things that make people stand out, their signature moves, you could say." So what we need to do when it comes to us, subconscious mind is such a powerful tool. And as we're able to use it and as we're able to transform things into a second nature, then we can go forward and learn higher mastery and expert skills. An example of this is as I'm going on my speaker journey, I've been speaking for several years, I think over a decade now, from when I first spoke when I was 12. Over a decade now of speaking. And I'm still mastering the fundamentals. And this interesting thought came to my mind is that people in school, when they do presentations, they say, "I don't want to master I don't want to memorize the words that I do, because if I memorize them, it makes me sound like a robot." And I said, "You are right. Do not stop at memorization." Because a lot of people will memorize their presentation, memorize the speech that they're going to give. And when they memorize it, they get to that point of when they have it down and then drop it off. And that's where they stop. They give the presentation, and that's where you sound like a robot. However, what I've found is that you need to push past memorization into second nature, which is you continue to practice that memorized speech. And as it becomes a part of you, as you're able to use it and able to tap into it at whatever notice it is, then you are able to invoke emotion. You're then able to use the higher level skills. And when it comes to the subconscious mind, that's the power of it. We go past the level of skill into it becoming a part of us. And when we use that tool for it to become a part of us, then we get into the levels of expert. Then we get into those levels of mastery. So when it comes to unlocking that, how do we unlock it? How do we unlock that power of the subconscious mind? I found 3 different things that can help you and that have helped me to be able to unlock that power. And this goes back into having a pet in your home. If any of you have had pets in your home, and it's even relatable to those wonderful parents who have kids in their home, because as someone who has had both during his lifetime, these principles fit in both ways. If you've had kids, if you've had pets, three things are needed. There's a lot more needed, I'll tell you, but three things are definitely needed. One, you got to feed it. Whether it's a pet or a kid, you got to give it food or else it's going to become hangry. Second one, you have to engage with the pet. With a pet, you got to take it out for walks. You got to play with it. For a kid, you got to be able to nurture them. You need to be able to play with them, have them enjoy and learn lessons themselves. You need to engage with your subconscious mind. And then third is you need to continually repeat for the lasting impact. If you continue to repeat, that's how you train animals. If you continue to repeat, that's how you nail down the values, the life lessons that you have with your kids. So when it comes to unlocking that power of the subconscious mind, not just for parents, not just for animal lovers, but for your business, for the skills that you are learning, and for communicating in your personal life, all those wrap around to, in order to unlock it, you hit those three. So the first one, feed it. Feed it positive inputs. I have found that what you input multiplies what you output. If you input negativity, if you input toxicity, if you input things that are not good, that do not serve you, it just makes sense that the output is going to be multiple times of that worse. But if you input success stories and positive affirmations and leading and learning thoughts, then you're going to output success. You're going to output positivity because that's just how the universe works. That's just how it is. Whatever you put out into the universe, that's what's going to come back. Whatever you input and put out, that's what the output's going to bring back to you. So when we're talking about feeding it, it's that subconscious mind. Our mind is recording every single day. For all the individuals here who know what a tape recorder is, when you hit record, it records everything for as long as the track has, right? So while it is recording, just like our minds, if our mind is a tape recorder, it is taking in everything, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, what we see, what we feel, what we're thinking. All of that is being processed in our mind of tape recorder. So if it is recording that, and everything that we are today is based off of the experience, the thoughts and the emotions that we felt in the past, that means that everything we're taking in today and into the future is going to create what we're going to output at a future date. So if we are putting in that positivity and affirmations and success, and we're reading things that are uplifting us, helping us learn new skills, then the output in the future is going to be good for us. But the vice versa is also true. That if we input negativity, if we input excuses and reasons, then we're going to continue that into the future. And I don't know about you, I don't want to be my same self 5 or 10 years in the future. Not because I'm not doing good now, but I know how great and outstanding I can be. So as we continue to learn and put in that information and feed our subconscious mind, then we're able to guide that subconscious mind towards success-oriented actions and success-oriented results. Second one, engage with the subconscious mind, and specifically engage emotion with your desires. Those desires that we have. When we are able to take the emotion part of it and add it into it, it seems to stay stronger. I've been on this health journey, started at the beginning of this year, weighed 295. And as I continued to hit milestone after milestone, I celebrated. Once I broke that decade of 290 and went into the 280 range, I was excited. We had a party. No, it was not an ice cream party because that's not going to help you lose weight, but it was a party of celebration. Then I broke the 280 decade. And just last month, I broke the 270 decade. So now where I'm in the 260 range, which, to tell you the truth, I haven't weighed since the beginning of our marriage, which was 7 years ago. And so each of these milestones, I am engaging with it emotionally. These desires that I have, I'm telling myself I get to be rewarded in this way, not to go against my goal, right? I'm not going to have cake, ice cream, or candy, but reward myself in a way that emotionally charges and helps it stick in my subconscious mind, being that this is the new way we're doing things. What I found is that a lot of the times with our minds, we get these what we call habits. If you think of a drip of water dropping onto our brain has created streams that the information of water dropping flows through. And our brain likes to remain comfortable. So the longer that it drips on it, the deeper the crevice that the water is going to flow down, and the harder it is to break that path. It's just going to keep flowing down until we consciously start changing stuff and then doing it so much that it becomes subconscious with us when it's creating new paths. And that initial break is hard, just like trying to get like a massive boulder to start rolling. The initial push is the hardest. But once you get that done, it's easy to keep that momentum. Just like in my health journey, it was hard to start losing weight. But now, once I have, it's easier to remain consistent with it because I've done it so many times. And in the future, I'm going to be able to say that even stronger because I will have a bigger backstory. So when it comes to being able to engage in something, that consistency, that being able to visualize achieving that goal, adding that emotion, feeling pride for reaching a milestone, that's going to help it so that that emotion is going to be able to stick through your thoughts, and then making those goals feel realistic and achievable. The last thing is the repeat side. Repeat for lasting impact. Throughout this whole thing, there's examples of repetition, from me and my health journey to our minds being a tape recorder to the dripping waters of going down the brain, of being the subconscious habits that we have. Like, the more we repeat, the more it's going to happen. And if we want to break something, then we need to break that line of repetition. Not many people ask this, but if you look at my hand, for those who are watching on video, I have this white bracelet. This white bracelet I have worn since December of 2019. Now, there is a disclaimer. A couple months ago, my wonderful littlest girl got a hold of the other one and broke it. And so I had my wife order another one because of what this stands for. Back in 2019, I was going through an addiction. And on the bracelet, it said, "One day at a time." And ever since then, I've worn this to remember me that every single day, that no matter what I'm going towards, that it's always about one day at a time. No matter the results you want, however big, whatever your big, hairy, audacious goal is, whatever that dream or vision that you're aiming towards, it all comes down to a single thing, one day at a time. And that one day at a time builds and builds and builds and builds, to where now we're hitting almost the month of December, and this has been a symbol that's been on me for almost 5 years. That's crazy to think about. That's crazy to think that Willie back in December of 2019 was like, "Oh, I'm going to put this on, and it's going to be a good reminder." To be able to then sit here today and be like, "Wow, 5 years later, one day at a time, look at the change that has occurred in me." And I tell you that as well. Look at you. I want you to visualize yourself 5 years ago. Where were you at? Who was involved in your family? What goals were you going towards? What were you working on? What were those projects? How was your financials? How was your health? How was the relationship with your friends? All these questions, as we reflect on it, we realize that we truly have come a long way. And it was through us constantly choosing a day at a time, that repetition, that daily choices every single day, that has led us to where we are now. Now, of course, everyone who's listening to this is a champion and someone who wants to excel in what they're doing and get accelerated results. If you're someone who wants that, obviously we are not just satisfied with what we have, but we are grateful for what we have. And then we can make the conscious effort today, as we want to repeat for lasting success as we go forward, and as we want to achieve that goal and that dream that we have. So as I wrap this up for you guys, I want you to think about what's happened in the last 5 years. I want you to sit and feel grateful for those things that have occurred. And then I want you to think about something you can do today to start moving forward with what you want to achieve, because it truly is about today. And with your subconscious mind, as you feed it, as you engage with it, and then as you repeat those things every single day, I promise you it is going to happen. Whatever it is that you want, it is going to happen as you continue to put the results in every single day to then work towards getting there. You are and are capable of hitting those milestones. It is now time for you to walk that path. And you can do it as you unlock the power of the subconscious mind and start taking action on what you're working towards.